Okay, so I just connected with Daryl. It's been a while since we've talked, and he started giving me a message saying something about going to Area 51 in around 1972, and then it stopped. I got interrupted. It wasn't the right time, and then some time had lapsed. I just did a session for someone that was right around that time. I think, how can I say it? Sometimes people have to be disentangled in order for a shift to happen. And there was someone that was very entangled during this time period. So here goes. So I observed that Daryl was pointing out to me that there were a bunch of clones of him. And he said, I asked him how many. He said about 30. And he said, I said, is that the government or who was doing that? He goes, no, it's a breakout group. I mean, not that the government is doing it per se, but my labs. And he said that it's becoming a trend for others to step in and try cloning and operating facilities where they can do experimentations around that time. So what he did was he went to the local authorities, tried to talk to someone in Area 51 and tell them what was going on, because he was positive that they weren't aware of it. But instead that they wanted to detain him and his friends, and said that they belonged in the facility, of which he refused to go in and had to run away before he was apprehended. Now, I'm not really sure how he got away, but because of maybe his size, he's not very big, and they maybe used some technology to kind of step them away from there. I don't know. And he says, yeah, that's what we did. Okay. And then you went to, the first group was the police. All right. And then the second group, he went to Area 51 and he wanted to talk to some scientists. And then they tried to put him in a reality that was connected to Area 51. Well, he wasn't sure. He said sometimes we don't know where we go. It seems that they don't believe us and want to turn us into an experiment. He said this has happened to some of the people that listen to many of these who are involved in some of these programs. And then he told me that I was at risk as well, and I told him I was taken when I was younger. And he says, we know you're trying to help, and we don't know what the best solution is here. And I just asked him, where are you now? And this is when he tells me he's in 1972. It's close to New Mexico and Nevada. And then reminding me that he visited Area 51. He's telling me this is where it all happens. He said people think that they're having fun and going and visiting these locations. He said, but quite often they don't leave the same way that they went in. And it's not much of a joke to watch many curious scientists trying to find out what's going on and experiment with different things. And there are regular facilities, and then there's other off-dimension spaces that not everyone's always aware of. So sometimes people are just missing, and then they're very, very good at wiping memories of that person's existence. I mean, they're highly advanced. I'm asking him, are you, is this like Mobius or Monarch? And he's nodding his head. He said they seem to keep showing up every time we travel. And when we go into the future, it's more obvious. So we like to stay around this time period. But now, for some reason, it seems like more and more activities going on. He said, I think we're getting close to finding what we need to find. We can't go to LA. We know there's a lot of activity there, and they're looking for us, almost as if they sent time travelers to find us. It's getting to be quite a mess, and we need your help. As I said, we don't want to entangle you and bring you into any of this, but we want to, be free, and we don't know where else to go. I asked how many are there with him, and he said there's 5. And I asked him, what's your next step? He said, we have 3 options. He said we can go deeper into the past, or we can go maybe 40, 50 years in either direction, or even 20 years in either direction. But we would like to stay on our path and find the things that we need to find. He said, I know we're very close. He said, we need to be near a shipyard. But I can't say. He said he can't say exactly where it is. He said a lot of the gates that were around, or places to travel, ways to travel, portals, he said they're popping up everywhere, so it's becoming more confusing. Different groups are creating new portals, and some of them are like a lair, waiting to capture someone. Fortunately, some of them have strange lights and frequencies that are unfamiliar to us, so we avoid them. Others are very familiar to us, and we avoid them also. He said, you have problems too, don't you? You can see there are some that aren't very nice that have come around you. Everybody wants something. That's one big lesson that I've learned. And then I saw Daryl just reach in his right pocket. I asked him what that was, and he says it's a solar panel that can charge. It enables me to charge some of my devices wherever I go. It's like a handheld one. I'm asking him what's going on with the timelines. And he said there have always been like an intersecting of 5 of them right around 72. And it's easy to find yourself in one of them, or go to the wrong one if you're not careful. And I asked him, why is that? What was significant about 1972? some of the sacred sites they opened up in the Middle East. Something happened in China. Something happened in Russia. And all of these things opened up to some very ancient beings that are emerged on the earth. And we've seen them as well. They observe us but don't say much because they have other plans. I don't know what's going on in where I'm from, if things have already changed. I just wish I could be home and be with my family and friends. Even though I have my friends here, all of us are very weary and we're tired of traveling. It seems that someone is always after us. We want to end this. And a few times we thought about just returning home, even though we haven't found what we were looking for. And I said, Daryl, you know, many of us will help you as much as we can and support whatever it is that you're looking for, because we know that it impacts us as well. He said, I know, but I'm getting tired. He said, I don't sleep very much, a couple hours a night, and then I wake up and then sleep a few more. And then we're on foot a lot. It's become dangerous to get rides from people. And we can defend ourselves, but then it gets the police involved. And they see a bunch of boys underage. And they're sure that we're not supposed to be walking around without any type of supervision. That's what they say. Although this time period, everyone seems to be in a blur, not quite aware of a lot of the bad things that are happening. It's like they're hidden. A lot of people are murdered and no one knows about it. People think that, you know, a lot of the young kids are just, you know, drifting and discovering things, and they don't realize that some of them are really getting in trouble because of drugs and criminal activity and all sorts of things, but it shows up later. I need to get change. That's what he said. It's funny, he reached in his pocket, he pulled out a few coins, and he said, I need to get change. And he looked at his left hand, and he reached back in his pocket and pulled out a bunch of coins, like there was more there, like he manifested them somehow. He said it's easier to use coins, to do that with coins, than it is with bills. I said, well, that probably gets heavy in your pocket. He said it gets spent pretty quickly. Where does the money come from? He said it's our money. We've earned it in different places. I just know how to retrieve it. Yeah. Okay. I guess you'll learn a lot of things in the future. He said that we don't use enough of our brain capacity. that hurts us a lot. And it's not just because of ETs. Some of it's because we don't exercise our brain enough. We don't challenge ourselves in trying to do things. If we're told that we're limited, then we don't try any harder. We just accept it. He said you're not quite in survival mode, and if anything, you're becoming more dependent on technology rather than your own minds. He said people would calculate in their mind. They kept their mind very sharp and aware. He said most of you couldn't survive without telephones, calculators, and all these other things that you use, computers. He said, don't get me wrong, I like a lot of those things, but I don't need them. He said, I can figure things out. He said, the most brilliant computer there is in your mind. He said, they haven't created anything nearly as amazing. Not even in our time. He said the difference between us and you is that we appreciate who we are. We appreciate and value our own abilities. We don't see that we're less than anything. We see that we can take on things that are many times our size, that we can challenge anything that is claiming to have a much more advanced intelligence. None of this holds us back, he said. He said, but in your society, it doesn't take much to make someone stop and quit and not come to a point of realization. It's something that you've grown accustomed to. You don't know anything else. But if you lived as I did, you could really see how debilitating some of the things are that are said. You've even trained our minds how to dream, how to find information when we're sleeping. And most of us are quite accurate. He said, I'm leaving a coin for you. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. Not just hearing my words, but understanding and believing it. Belief isn't magical. It's not fantasy. It's a point of tapping into your potential. He said, well, until the next time we talk, he said, I think we just found an answer. And then I heard in the background like a clicking of like keys or something, maybe even one of those chains that hold on to a wallet or something, one of the other boys. I said, okay. We smiled. It looks like they figured out where they're going next. All right. Bye, Daryl. Thank you for listening, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to Daryl again, and I will keep you updated when he comes to speak to me again. Have a good day, and bye for now.
Trouble, bad dog in my soul since the day I was born.